Dear respected and honorable brothers, last week we finished off, or we ended after the shahadat of Uthman radiallahu anhu. After Uthman radiallahu anhu became shaheed, we mentioned he was buried in Jannatul Baqi late at night. About 9 Sahaba had to take the body of Uthman radiallahu anhu from his house, give him the ghusl, perform the janazah salah, and within the darkness of the night he was buried towards the end of Jannatul Baqi, the graveyard, which now is the central. So this was the dhulam and the oppression being done on the people of Medina. Although Uthman radiallahu anhu was a Khalifa, but those rebels that came straight after Hajj in Medina, they caught the people of Medina unaware. And Masjidun Nabawi was locked for 21 days. Sahaba got together after the demise of Uthman radiallahu anhu, because now a new Amir had to be elected amongst themselves to fight with these rebels and to remove them from Medina. But because their stronghold was so great and they had their people infiltrated everywhere, so every time someone suggested a name of a Sahabi to become an Amir, these were the people they used to continue refuting. That we will not accept him as an Amir, we will not accept him as an Amir. Zubair radiallahu anhu, Abu Talha radiallahu anhu, and many other Sahaba. Some Sahaba themselves said that it is not in our capability to be a leader at the moment. So Ali radiallahu anhu realized that if everyone steps back, then who will take the reins? The rebels. So Ali radiallahu anhu's name was put forward by a few Sahaba, and Ali radiallahu anhu accepted the Imarat, the Khilafah, that at least if the Muslims have a leader, then later on the rebels can be sorted and the Muslims can come back into power in Medina. Nevertheless, when Ali radiallahu anhu was elected as an Amir, immediately these people changed their tone. Their tone was no longer the Ahlul Bayt now. Now their tone became that if you are the Amir, then you need to find those that have killed the Uthman radiallahu anhu, and we will help you take revenge from them. So no one knew who they were. Some people knew, but because their stronghold was so great, they were not allowing the Sahaba radiallahu anhum or Ali radiallahu anhum to move forward with the Khilafah. So looking at the circumstances, Ali radiallahu anhu then decided that let us move the Khilafah to Kufa, to Iraq, where the Muslims have a stronghold, and the fitna that is in Medina currently is not found there. So let us move to Kufa. Before moving towards Kufa, some say it was before moving towards Kufa, some historians say after moving towards Kufa. Aisha radiallahu anha gets the news about the demise of Uthman radiallahu anhu, and she pitches her tent outside Medina. She refused to enter into Medina and says, I will not enter into Medina until qisas and revenge is taken from these people who have killed our Khalifa, our leader Uthman radiallahu anhu. The other Sahaba were saying that we cannot do this until we have the ability and the capability to do so. So therefore let us establish the Khilafah first, let us establish the leadership, the Imarat, and thereafter we will resolve the issues that we have in Medina. But even then, certain Sahaba, from them was Zubair ibn al-Awam radiallahu anhu, Abu Talha radiallahu anhum, and many other Sahaba, they were with Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha. And some Sahaba were with Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu. And we mentioned the third group was Amr ibn al-As and Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, who were based in Sham and Egypt. So Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, who was the governor of Egypt, who was also a true great Sahabi, he also had the same demand that first revenge and qisas should be taken. We should catch these people who have done this grave crime, and thereafter we should speak about who will be the next leader. They did not want leadership themselves. They accepted Ali radiallahu anhu as the Amir, because Umar radiallahu anhu, when he left this world, before he left, he named 6 people. From amongst them was Uthman, and from amongst them was also Ali radiallahu anhu. So it was already, their names were already written to be the future amirs of the ummah. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, when she pitched her camp outside Medina, some people say it was outside Kufa. Nevertheless, Ali radiallahu anhu sends a group of Sahaba and Tabi'een that go and peacefully welcome these people into Medina. Welcome the camp of Hazrat Aisha, because I fear that the rebels will now attack the next best person they see. They will attack to create more chaos within Medina and the outskirts of Medina. So these people were sent at night. Aisha radiallahu anha and the other Sahabas, they had their resolutions. They said, we will not enter until these things. So they had a demand, and which was rightfully so. Nevertheless, the night had befallen them, so both the groups and the parties camped outside Medina, thinking that the next day we will continue our discussions and try and resolve the issue. Before Fajr Salah, the next day, the camp of Aisha radiallahu anha was attacked. Now, by who was it attacked? From the history we come to know that those people that killed Uthman radiallahu anhu, these were the same people trying to fuel and instigate amongst the common Muslims or the sincere Muslims. So before Fajr, it is mentioned that Aisha radiallahu anha's camp was attacked and Sahaba became up in arms. Obviously, if you are being attacked, then what you will do? You will take revenge and you will try and defend yourself. And both these groups of Sahaba and Tabi'een went into a clash. The fuel that was thrown upon them was by these very rebels. That they did not want the Muslims to come together or unite in a way that they said, if the Muslims will unite, or if these sincere Sahaba and Tabi'een will unite, then they will get to know about our matters. They will start looking for us. They will start searching for us, who we are. So it is mentioned that it's called the Battle of Jamal. The reason why it's named the Battle of Jamal, that Aisha radiallahu anha was in a hoda upon a camel, and the legs of the camel was chopped off. Now this legs of the camel was chopped off by Sahaba radiallahu anhum themselves. Why? Because they did not want someone to take this camel away from the battlefield. If someone takes this camel away, then we would never know where Mu'mineen has gone. The group of Ali radiallahu anhu then was victorious. They took the hoda of Aisha radiallahu anha and they respectfully brought her into Medina. Nevertheless, many Sahaba's lives were lost, because now they both, not the Sahaba, but these rebels fueled such a situation that they both were up in arms without knowing who is who. When Aisha radiallahu anha comes into Medina, she listens to the entire situation and she was informed of what had happened and now what will be the next approach. So then she sided with Ali radiallahu anhu. Many other Sahaba sided with Ali radiallahu anhu. But still, because communication back then was very difficult to pass a message on to the next person. You know, these days you don't have FaceTime. You can just FaceTime the whole country and save your country. You can't do that. So nevertheless, Ali radiallahu anhu managed to secure the confidence of Aisha radiallahu anha and the other Sahaba radiallahu anhum. But at the same time, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu and Amr ibn al-As, who were far away in Damascus, they didn't know what is going to happen. So then Ali radiallahu anhu moves his Khilafah from Medina to Kufa. There was also another slogan that the rebels started saying, that why are you leaving the place of the Prophet and now you are moving away to the place of the Ajam, which they called. The Kufa wasn't Ajam at that time, they were also Arabs, but they said you are leaving the city of the holy city of the Prophet where the whole world could run from, and now you are moving to an unknown land. Ali radiallahu anhu said that the reason I am doing this is to establish and to gather the Muslims where there is no chaos. Because obviously where there is chaos, you do not know what's going to happen to the next Sahabi tomorrow. When Ali radiallahu anhu moves there to Kufa, moving back 2 minutes, I want to give you a brief update of who are these people that were actually the rebels. These people, historians write, that they were a tribe of the Balwai tribe, they call them. Some of them given them another name. They were based just above Yemen, in the southern region of Saudi Arabia currently. So the southern region of Mecca and Medina, they were there. In the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, all these lands were conquered. And many people, many tribes became Muslims. This was one of them also that have become Muslims. But this tribe was known for its extremist views, what we can say. Or anything that they had, anything that they would make a resolution of, then they would have extreme views on it. And they would do anything to stand firm on their grounds. So Umar radiallahu anhu realized the strength of this tribe. So Umar radiallahu anhu decided to put them onto the borders of the Islamic Khilafah. At that time it was Iraq, Iran, etc. So he said, if you put them there, then we can at least use them as soldiers of the Islamic Empire and use their abilities correctly, rather than them sitting here and someone can come and misuse them, twist their minds, and they will create chaos. After Umar radiallahu anhu passed away, this is exactly what happened. Abdullah bin Sabah found this group of people. And he said, and these days also you'll find, you go into the jungles or the Bedouin lands, you'll find certain tribes that they are very strong physically. But at the same time, they are very vulnerable in terms of anyone can manipulate them. So when Abdullah bin Sabah was exiled from Medina and was thrown into Egypt, some say towards Iraq, he was the one who instigated these people about the Ahl Bayt. So Ali radiallahu anhu decided that these are the same people that have come now to Mecca. Let me go to their center, which is Kufa, and resolve the issues with their leaders, because they also regarded themselves as Muslims, but they were manipulated. Their minds were manipulated. When Ali radiallahu anhu moved there to Kufa, 4 years his Khilafah was, for 4 years. But in that 4 years, he had to deal with all this chaos that was going on. One side, he had to deal with the Sahaba, winning the confidence of the other Sahaba. The other side, he had to deal with these rebels. Again and again, they are planning and plotting against the Muslims, against noble cities of Mecca and Medina, etc. Ali radiallahu anhu decides to speak to Muawiyah radiallahu anhu that let us come to a resolution. You accept me as a Khalifa and you become the governor. You are the governor of Sham. You remain the governor of Sham. And once we become a united force, we will deal with all those people, number one, because now there's multiple crimes being done. Not only the shahadat of Uthman radiallahu anhu, even they waged a war against Aisha radiallahu anha and against the group of Ali radiallahu anhu, and many Sahaba's lives were lost. So all that needs to be ironed out. Ali radiallahu anhu moves with his army of, some say 40,000, some say 50,000. And Muawiyah radiallahu anhu comes with an army of 100,000. They meet at the place of Siffin. This was the second place where the Sahaba radiallahu anhu decided to meet each other to try and resolve issues amicably. Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu was also called because he was based in Egypt. So he joined Muawiyah radiallahu anhu in the discussion with Ali radiallahu anhu. When Ali radiallahu anhu and Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, both of the armies met at the place of Siffin, the first discussion that took place that let us appoint an Amir from your side and Amir from our side, or a mediator from your side, a mediator from our side, who will discuss, and thereafter we will continue. Before this could happen, again the war was instigated amongst them, amongst both the parties. So before the discussions could start, this is what historians write. And there are many other historians, they'll write all sorts. People will speak against the Sahaba. Na'udhu billah, we cannot, even comprehend to speak against the Sahaba, because these are the people that Allah Ta'ala praised. We have a complete aqeedah that as-sahabatu kulluhum adul. All the Sahaba were righteous. This what happened, it was instigated by the rebels. So some people will say, na'udhu billah, some historians will write. And those that write, they need to question their iman. That how can you say that a Sahabi has picked up a sword against another Sahabi? This what happened was instigated purely by those same rebels that did not want the Muslims to unite. Before the discussion could take place, a war took place between them. 50,000 on Ali radiallahu anhu's side, 100,000 on Muawiyah and Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu's side, and 70,000 Sahabas' lives were lost in one day. When the battle that took place between, not the battle, but the conflict that took place between Aisha radiallahu anha's group and Ali radiallahu anhu's group outside Medina, or outside Kufa, it was 10,000 Sahabas lost their lives in one night. And here 70,000 Sahaba and Tabi'een loses their lives in one day. Finally, towards the end of the day, again the Sahaba, those that were alive, realized that, look, this is not normal. There's a third party between us that is creating this. So what they done is they put the Quran above onto their spears to tell the other army on the other side that stop. Let the Quran decide among us. So these people who were with Ali radiallahu anhu and his group, obviously Ali radiallahu anhu's group was on haqq, and they were the rightful ones. But at the same time, there were other people in that group that were trying and instigating things against other groups and other companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they said, no, let's not stop this war. We are winning. We will win the war and we'll take over Sham, we'll take over Egypt, etc. So let's not stop this war. Ali radiallahu anhu said that, look, we need to stop this war because they are saying that let the Quran decide amongst us. These are also believers. They are also reciters of the kalima. I do not want any bloodshed. I do not want Muslims slaughtering the throat of another Muslim for no reason. Nevertheless, the war was stopped. And again, the same discussion that we said we will decide a mediator amongst us, and then the war was already started before we could even have a discussion. So finally, it was one mediator that was chosen from Ali radiallahu anhu's side was Abdullah ibn Abbas. Again, these people objected that Abdullah ibn Abbas cannot be a mediator. Let Abu Musa al-Ash'ari be. Now the difference, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu was very learned, very talented. And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu, he was also learned and talented, but he was very soft in nature. So they said, send Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu. On this side, Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu was elected from the side of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, who was a general. Nevertheless, it was decided that now, the first instance was that Ali radiallahu anhu is the Amir, and Muawiyah radiallahu anhu should accept Ali radiallahu anhu as the Amir and the Sahaba that are with him. But on this side, Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu said that no. We will accept Ali radiallahu anhu as a Khalifa only after the qisas been taken from those people that have killed or had slain Uthman radiallahu anhu. And then afterwards the other Sahaba radiallahu anhu. First, you deal with these rebels, you deal with these people, and thereafter we will accept you as a Khalifa. So this was decided. Ali radiallahu anhu and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu said, that's fine. You help us, we will deal with them, and thereafter we will sit down again and we will unanimously elect a Khalifa, a leader. When this was decided, this group that were the rebels, they decided to move away one side, the Balwais. So they said, wow, what is happening now? You guys said that you guys are going to decide upon the Quran and there'll be a hakam between you, and here you still came with the same disagreement. You're not willing to accept one another as amirs, as leaders, so we will also not accept both of you. This was the same group that caused chaos everywhere. So they moved away from the group of Ali radiallahu anhu, and na'udhu billah, they chanted slogans like Ali is also a kafir, Muawiyah is also a kafir, and Amr ibn al-As is also a kafir. Thereafter, this was the third battle that took place between Ali radiallahu anhu and these people. It was called the Battle of Nahawand. These were called the Rawafid. Rawafid means those that had gone astray from the correct teachings of Islam. So they thought themselves that we were Muslims, but on the other side they cursing the Sahaba. On the other side they were rebelling against the Sahaba themselves. So Ali radiallahu anhu had a battle with them, and Ali radiallahu anhu was victorious. Thereafter, these people, what they decided, those that lost, they said, all these people are kafir because they're not listening to the Quran. Na'udhu billah. Imagine a person who is giving his life for deen. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they gave their lives with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, with Abu Bakr, with Umar, with Uthman. And then to chant a blatant slogan against them saying they are not on deen and they are kafir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. So they made a plan and a plot. They said, we will choose one day of the year. Some say it was in the month of Ramadan, where we'll send one person or one group of people to assassinate Ali radiallahu anhu. On the same day, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu in Damascus. And on the same day, Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu in Egypt. This plot and plan they made, and my time is again up. Inshallah, next week we will continue. This actually led to the shahadat of Ali radiallahu anhu. Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala saved the other two Sahaba, and we regret the fact that this was happening amongst the Muslims. This was a constant effort of dismantling the leadership of the Muslims, and thereafter, inshallah, we'll discuss. We still need to get to Hussein radiallahu anhu. This whole discussion started from Muharram, because I wanted to bring history into light so that we understand how did Hussein radiallahu anhu become martyred and who were the people behind him. Until today, this blame game, is been put onto people who are not supposed to be blamed. Who were the actual perpetrators of this crime? Inshallah, we'll discuss. Hopefully, there'll be time next week. We'll get to that. May Allah Ta'ala grant us all the understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.